Since the days when the Texan settlers took up arms for independence from Mexico, Texas has had a strong tradition of stepping forward in a time of war. The state that wears the Lone Star is a state filled with families and, indeed, entire communities who have a long tradition of military service. And so it was in the 1960s that when the nation called them to Vietnam, Texans went by the thousands. They left the West Texas plains and the East Texas woods and the big cities and the small towns, many to take their first airplane ride halfway around the world, where they were dropped off to fight in a difficult and bloody war in Vietnam. What people need to know is that these Texans who went to Vietnam, men and women of every stripe, did the very best they could with what they had. They fought just as bravely as did William B. Travis and his volunteers at the Alamo, just as honorably as Sam Houston's rebels at San Jacinto. They fought with every bit as much determination and valor as did Rudder's Rangers at Normandy. These were good soldiers, Marines, pilots, sailors. They were dedicated nurses and doctors and artillerymen, and God knows those brave men who got in those tin-can Huey helicopters and faced death every day to support those of us on the ground were the bravest of the brave. In the prime of their lives, some of our fellow Texans spent years being tortured behind the walls of the Hanoi Hilton. Some of our fellow Texans carried their wounded friends through rainstorms of enemy bullets, and too many of our fellow Texans breathed their last in a muddy hole or a delta swamp or a tangled jungle in Vietnam. They are heroes by any definition of the word. They are the best of us. They are the best of Texas. They may not be the greatest generation, but by God, they're the greatest of their generation. The Texas Capitol Vietnam Veterans Monument will forever be a place where people can honor our Texas Vietnam War heroes, as it takes its place on the Capitol grounds to stand alongside statues that honor the forefathers who fought and died in other wars. This bronze infantry patrol, surrounded by the symbols of all those who supported them, will honor the Texas heroes who fought for and served their country with honor and courage during the Vietnam War. But this monument doesn't just invite you to honor our Texas Vietnam veterans, it invites you to know them. When you visit the Texas Capitol Vietnam Veterans Monument website, you can see the faces for whom the monument stands. You can meet the fallen. You can read and hear and watch the stories, and generations to come will be able to learn what they have to teach us. Lessons born from Texas blood spilled in the soil of Vietnam. Those of us who were there, we who were soldiers once, left Vietnam with a whispered promise to our fallen brothers that we would never forget, that we would do all in our power, even when our time comes to join them, to ensure that the future never forgets. This is what this monument is about. When that statue of the vigilant soldier, the dedicated medic, the determined radio man, the infantry grunt, all surrounded by the panels paying tribute to those who supported we who were on the ground, when that monument rises there on the sacred soil of our State House grounds, every Texan who served in Vietnam and every family who suffered and every one of our fallen brothers will know that Texas remembers. Texas remembers. I'm Joe Galloway. I'm proud to be a Texan, and I'm damn proud of our Texas Vietnam veterans, and so should you be. so should you be.